In the most recent event, Apple introduced Apple Vision Pro, or what I like to call Apple goggles, and I would like to share my thoughts on it and how I think it could apply to things like photography and videography, creativity, and entertainment. So I'm going to talk about the things that I think are exciting, and then I'm going to share some concerns. Now, I was invited to the Apple event to try these, but I had another meeting with the Prince of Egypt, so I did not make it to actually try this product. So this is just sharing my impressions from afar. But I have been keeping up with the coverage, and I've been, watching videos from people who have tried it, and everything I've heard is wow. It seems like it blew everybody's socks off. It seems like it was a very high quality experience. It was amazing that you could use your eyes to toggle through things and then use your hand to select whatever you're looking at. It was very intuitive. You have 2 4K screens in front of your eyeballs, super sharp, responsive. It seems like Apple really put their applesauce. I did not realize what that was going to be like the food. Seems like they put their applesauce on this and created a very high quality experience, which is, what would you expect? Now, what do we do with this thing for photography? Obviously, with the iPhone, we have our applications, but this is a headset that's, it's big. If the best camera is the one that's in your pocket, this is not that camera. I mean, part of it is in your pocket because they have the battery pack, but I don't see a whole lot of people walking around with this thing doing street photography, although I would like to see that. Now, I'll speak more about shooting in a second, but first, I think editing photos could be really interesting on the Apple goggles. You could theoretically have a giant Lightroom screen in front of you, and you can use your eyes to look around and select the different, sliders, and then you can use your hand to drag things around. And it would be a very immersive editing experience. You could see the photos huge in your eye space. It's gonna be very large. You're gonna be able to see all the details. If you're doing some healing or some brushing, a lot of detail work, it could be really interesting, I think. And I think this could be an application, because one of the major questions with this device that I think everybody is wrestling with is what are the actual applications here? They had a lot of people sitting on couches.
People sitting.
And I could see people sitting on couches editing their photos. That could be a very pleasant experience. And to take this to a really cool place, when we start seeing apps that are designed specifically for this device and are very friendly to the way that you're going to be interacting with it, a photo editing app that acts in this way could be really interesting. Like, I can imagine you having a big image over here, and then you have these giant buttons and sliders and toggles that you can move around with your hands. That seems like that could be really exciting. I'd try it. Sign me up. Get me a ticket for that one, Jack. I also think enjoying photography in a very intentional way could be something that this could be used for. If you really want to enjoy a photo, look at it very large, like this. It changes the experience. And so if you're standing in a room and you're looking at this photo, that you could, with your finger, make it bigger. And at one point in the announcement video, they showed this guy standing in a room with a panoramic image wrapping around him. And that's neat. That's very neat stuff. And of course, these screens you're looking at are very high quality, so that could be very immersive, and it could cause one to cry. Now, one of the most exciting features that they announced is the ability to connect your Bluetooth devices or even your Mac to Apple goggles Pro. So for video editing, for example, this could get really exciting. You can still use your mouse, you can still use your keyboard shortcuts. Oh boy, oh boy. The idea that you can have resizable floating displays in front of you makes that price tag a bit more stomachable. We indeed. Now, when it comes to shooting photos and videos, you have the ability to do that, and you can shoot spatial videos and spatial photos. This is what the webpage says. Vision Pro is Apple's first 3D camera. You can capture magical spatial photos and spatial videos in 3D, then relive those cherished moments like never before in immersive spatial audio. Your existing library of photos and videos looks incredible at remarkable scale, and panoramas wrap around you, making you feel like you're standing right there where you were when you took them. So I think this means you have spatial audio, and you can turn your head and it changes. You have 3D video, which I'm guessing means it uses multiple cameras to capture your scene, and then you can kind of do like a parallax thing later when you're watching it. I assume this means photos as well. Maybe you guys can help me out. Maybe I'm missing something super obvious here, but this is not particularly clear to me. Anyway, I don't see this as a very practical way to make, let's say, serious photos and videos, but there could be some niche applications, but it's big. If it was like a little thing on some glasses that's pretty discreet on the side of your head, you could have like a face cam thing and you could do some interesting things with that. But you're gonna stick out like a sore thumb if you go outside with this thing on. And it's not like it's a head-worn cinema camera. So, like I said, I see more of an editing and enjoyment consumption application. Now, viewing videos, once again, I mean, this is going to be one of the major use cases for these goggles. You can take a video and make it as big as your room, and then you can fill the room up with like a mountainscape. That was what they did on the video. Put some mountains behind it, or you can put Tokyo behind it or whatever. Put a bunch of bananas behind it. Either way, it can be a very immersive experience, a lot of fun, great escapism. I think that's going to be one of the major use cases here is escapism. In terms of gaming, once again, you have a lot of things going, very immersive. It's obviously a VR headset. But then you have to wonder, okay, it's the Apple ecosystem. I doubt Apple's going to just let you bring in your Steam library of VR games and get going. So probably going to be just as limited as everything else in the Apple ecosystem. So that's unfortunate. To be fair, gaming on my MacBook Pro is getting better every day. Got the M2 chip. There's a fair bit of games that you can actually play from Steam. Whatever it is, it's going to be immersive. The subway jumper or whatever, you're going to feel like you are looking at the back of a person in a cartoonish 3D world jumping off of subway cars with incredible parkour skills immersively. If we're thinking about just general creativity, animation, graphic design, drawing, audio, there's probably lots of opportunity there. I think the more freeform art experiences will probably thrive, like you like to draw faces or whatever. You can make it really big and get into the details. I think things like that could be fun. I don't know exactly, are you going to be able to pair your Apple Pencil with, what is that going to look like? You're just going to draw with your hand? I mean, like manipulating 3D models can be really exciting. I think you can move around things, although I don't remember seeing that in the announcement video. Can you like move around your Finder window? If you can move around your square that you just made in Apple Goggles Blender, that's cool. I'm excited to see what people will do with this. I'm excited to see what developers will do with this. Once they get their hands on this technology and all of the opportunity that this incredibly high quality bundle of technical genius that is in this product, it could be really exciting. I mean, certainly, what we can know is that you're going to be able to take that IKEA desk that you have not purchased yet, put it in your room and go, that's what it's gonna look like in real life, right? So the price, this is a major talking point. It's not a cheap device at all. Will normal people buy this immediately? I think some will. I think there are people that really, really enjoy entertainment and investing in their entertainment life. The same people that are going to buy the 500-inch 19K thing with the OLED so that they can get those pixels to turn off when it's black. There is no light. I think those people might buy it, but through engaging with different opinions about this, because when I first saw that price, that took my breath away. I was like, that's a lot of money. I don't really know how to feel about that just yet. Like $1,000 would have been totally reasonable, and they would probably have another $1,000 stand, kind of like they do for the displays. Caffeine. But ultimately, and this is not my opinion, this is from consuming what other people have said about this. This is going to be for the enthusiast, the high enthusiast of technology, and over time it will hopefully become more obtainable. The price will come down as technology develops, certainly what we've seen in the past with other products. And then I wonder, is this going to be a novelty item? Because in my experience, that's what the VR world feels like. And obviously this is not just VR, it's AR, and you have the eyes, we'll talk about that in a second. But is this actually going to settle in like our laptops, like our phones? like the iPads, like the watches. The Apple Watch had a hard time settling in, but it has found its footing. A lot of people have a ton of people have Apple Watches. Will this do that? Will it make its way into everyday life? Will people be walking around the grocery stores, picking out their bread with it, and they have an overlay of all the prices of everything in the store, an entire map of the store? Is that going to happen? Or is it going to be like a side thing that, is it going to stay? I don't know. But one of the goofy things about the product is the eyes and I'll get to that in a second. Okay, the eyes. So when I first saw this, I thought you can see through the screen. It's like a two-way mirror, and you can see out into the world, right? Almost like a teleprompter. I thought you were looking at real eyes in there. I then realized that it's not. The eyes are covered. They're looking at their screens. There are cameras on the outside so the people inside can see out. And then you have a screen on the front that is merely for the people outside in the outside world, so that they can see either that you're watching something, you're fully immersed, and it'll have this like blurry gradient thing going on, or they will see eyes, but it's not your real eyes. It is animated eyes. And this is, I don't know what this is going to be like when I see this in real life. I feel like I might laugh. I don't. This is odd. This is a new paradigm for me. Like the idea and the mental awareness that when I'm looking at my wife wearing this, I'm going to be looking at an animated version of her eyes, and I'm connecting with her on a human level to some degree, but it's not really her eyes. That is insane to me. I don't know what to do with that information. So that's weird. And certainly they had a couple of intimate moments where it's like the father with the kids, and people have made a lot of hay about that. Is that the phrase? Hey. There was a girl sitting on a couch talking to her friend. Hey. She's looking at the animated eyes of her friend and having a conversation. And I don't know. I have to see it happen in front of me to come to a full knowledge of what to think about this. Even then I might not have this might take years. Are we all going to embrace this? Are we going to get used to looking at animated versions of people more and more in society, and then just that's okay? So then on that note, you have FaceTime, and this by far is the strangest thing that, I don't know, actually. The eyes are pretty strange. So we'll say the eyes, but also the way that FaceTime works is pretty strange. In the announcement video, you have one of the examples was a woman looking at her colleagues as she's doing a business demonstration. As I'm watching this, I'm thinking, what are they seeing her from another camera across the room with their headset on? Does she not have a video? She sees them, right? And they're in these floating squares, and you have the business demo. Now, one thing I'm thinking is that I think of my team, and my team are pretty young, hip and happening folks. I don't see any one of them putting a headset on and showing up to our Google Meet with it like that. That seems far-fetched for me. Family moments, I don't know. You could probably have if they're watching a movie together, cool, that could be fun. But this woman looked like she was like, head of finance. I mean, I especially don't see her putting on a headset and going to a business meeting like that when she could just sit in front of her laptop and do the same thing and share a screen. But the other way around, right? They're not looking at her from a distance on a camera with a headset on her head, which is, of course, goofy. They're looking at an animated version of her entire face in this meeting as she's talking. Once again, are we going to get used to this? This is very strange. This is very strange territory. Ultimately, you're looking at a very high quality memoji of your friend or colleague. They're talking to you. I understand that this stuff is getting better all the time, but ultimately, you're still looking at a face that is computer generated. You're not looking at your friend. I don't know all the answers to this. It's just a lot to take in. As of right now, if I'm FaceTiming with my friend and they have the headset on, I'm going to be looking at a weird Uncanny Valley version of their face. And that's that's that. Oh, geez. Okay, with all that said, those are my impressions. I can't wait to try this thing. It is a very exciting product. It is a very impressive product. I think the question is, how do we practically integrate this into our lives? I think Apple tried to show us some examples of what that could look like, but what's actually gonna stick? Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, if you want to hit the like button, and if you want to subscribe, I would really appreciate that. I hope you have a lovely day. Goodbye.